for a second time, and as he flicks the ball inside, as he rides his challenges by Neil, a flick on by Davis, and then a tremendous volley. Here's Davis, and there's Robson moving just behind him, and Robson's the man who comes on to volley this ball into the net. One of the funniest goals I've seen this season.
Match of the Day presenter David Coleman was down at Swindon to see a certain Don Rogers run riot.
Rogers with the corner again. Oh, what a good flick by Smith! John Smith! It's Horsfield now to Rogers. Yes! Noble! Rogers, who's always been positive and direct. To Trollope, what a good ball that was, and it's number 3. Trollope. Number 4, Noble the scorer. Peter Noble, played on by Trollope and set up by Rogers. Trollope the swing. Rogers once more has had a hand in all the goals. And again the defence, and shot his hands as a goal anyway. Number 3 for Noble.
The versatile Alan Weeks was in the Midlands, where Coventry and Wolves were now both enjoying life in the First Division.
This is Hunt. Hunt with a shot, and it's in the net.
But that regional-style format was soon replaced by the simple two-match recipe seen nationwide. It proved a winning combination, and Saturday night at 10 o'clock was given over to the central figures in a weekly drama. Men like Alan Gilzine and an impish Jimmy Greaves. Personalities like these seemed to fill the screen in the 60s, when Match of the Day was mandatory viewing even for heads of state and archbishops. At Spurs, Jimmy brightened up many a dark winter's night on the telly with his flair for goals. And listen for the name of his provider here, a future Tottenham manager.
Venables, the Greaves onside. It's 2. Robbed by Perriman, and Greaves has got the whole field. He's got the whole field to himself. He'll have to beat the defender. He's got the goalkeeper now.
Greaves scored 357 goals in the First Division alone. One of his contemporary number 8s who might have taken over Jimmy's mantle as a goal-scoring entertainer was Wolves' Peter Knowles, whose conversion from petulant First Division footballer to Jehovah's Witness was one of the quirkish stories of the 1960s. Knowles' decision to give up the game completely was greeted with disbelief, but he stuck to it and never went back.
Peter Knowles. And Knowles is being booked. This is the new regulation. He showed dissent and he's been booked.
And I know the personality I am, the flair I've got, that I could one day break somebody's leg. No matter how long I play football, that no matter how long I am a Jehovah's Witness, or how near to perfection I come, I know for a fact that the personality I am, and I'm imperfect, that I could break somebody's leg. And I'd hate this on my mind. It's not the thought of breaking somebody's leg, it's just the thought that that person could be out of work, that person could be a cripple for the rest of his life. And when you're a cripple for the rest of your life and you've been earning £100 a week, you come down in wages. And that's going to be a big drop, especially if a footballer's got 4 or 5 kids. And also, when you're broken your leg, you're hanging about the house, you start being niggly with your wife. And it could easily break a marriage up. But people say, oh, this is rubbish. But it has happened. And this is, I don't want this on my conscience. And I know the personality I am on a football field, that I could do this.
Dugan, goal to equalise! 20 seconds left to play, and Knowles is equalised.
But I found that when I started reading the Bible, and when I started trying to be a Christian, I found that after Wednesday, the nearer we got to Saturday, I was dragging myself away from my wife, and I was dragging myself away from religion. I was building myself up. As near I got to Saturday, I was starting to be on my own, and I was thinking about the game, and I was thinking how I was going to play, and what happened if somebody kicked me, or what happened if somebody was going to score, what would I do? And I was really getting involved in the game. And from Wednesday until Saturday, I might as well not be married. I might as well have been on my own. But this is wrong, because the Bible expects you to be a Christian 7 days a week.
Twisting by England, Knowles. Dugan strangely moving to the right, Curran moving into the middle.
I think sport's gone out of football myself. It's getting a big business, and there's that much at stake. Well, anything can happen. And it's same with the crowds. At one time, a woman would never go to a football match at one time. But now, there's all women in the crowds. There's people getting smashed up with bottles, of people getting stabbed. And I can see that it's going to come to a big climax in one game.
That premonition of tragedy has a truthful ring about it 20 years later. As Peter Knowles continued his preaching, he and football went their separate ways.
All we do is just come and talk to them about the Bible, nothing else.
In November 1969, monochrome gave way to Kodachrome. Now we had football in colour. The first match, as in the series itself, came from Anfield, and we all knew who was in red.
The two Liverpool fullbacks are up. That's Graham. Lawler. That's it. It's Thompson. It's going to come right back. Smith. Graham!
Now the games and the goals flowed thick and fast as the match of the day audience approached 10 million every Saturday.
More a goal! A good goal scored by Ian Moore. A Reese. Moore. English Lions, it's 2-0. Barry Lyons has made it 2-0.
Graham to Callahan. Hughes. Thompson. Yes, home goal. Sandy Brown. And he must wish the ground could open up. Hurst. Oh, he's in trouble. This is Graham. Only the goalkeeper left.
Four blue shirts poised on the far post. Webb now making it 5. Webb going for it. Oh! Dempsey right on the line. Osgood coming across. And in fact, there was a man behind him who got the header. David Webb again. Now presenting it to Osgood. Good running by Osgood, side foot shot. In comes Hutchinson. Number 3. Now Young. This is better from Young. Summerby. And a goal by Mike Summerby.
Jones to Bremner. Lorimer Jones. A goal. Yes, a goal. Beanie. The Leeds players never stop running. Up goes Jones. A goal. So White to take the free kick for Everton. Royal, Whittle, he scored! A good goal, well taken by Whittle, but made by Royal, who soared above everybody.
David Sadler's moved up, number 6 there. Just in the 6-yard box from Lawrence's view. You can see that he might possibly obstruct it. And he has indeed. Whether he got a touch or not, we're not sure. But it was curled in. Lawler blocking that route. Oh, well seen by Hughes. He's moved for the return too, but Brennan going with him. Now Callahan. Hit it well. Oh, Stepney. Hughes. No one can get to it now, Aston. And you're getting the touch. Done. Charlton picking that off ball. Morgan. And number 3. Charlton going for a 1-2 and getting it. Oh, what a goal!
Law, Best and Charlton, the Champagne Trio. Jimmy Greaves, every fan's cup of tea. Gordon Banks, you could put your last pint on him. Peter Shilton, he would mature like good wine. Oh, happy days when we won the World Cup and when football so enriched our lives that the laughing policeman could enjoy the fun and not worry about the crowd, when the game still hadn't lost its virginity. So long, 60s. The 70s would throw up a new set of colourful football characters to fill our television screens.
You are a bloody disgrace! Hey, Buzz! For missing the target from there, you want bloody shooting! Oh, it's bloody rubbish!